No, there's been documentaries put out about the families that live and work next to the soybean fields and others that have the Roundup sprayed, and the Roundup's going into their drinking water and killing them deader than a hammer. It's not a mystery. I mean, the New York Times 2 months ago came out and said, well, yeah, World Bank groups are exterminating blacks to get them off the property to create a carbon sink for this African country, to comply. And they're like, well, it's for the earth. I mean, burning down villages and shooting little kids. I mean, maybe it's needed. And I saw articles out of Honduras where they're going in and killing the people and herding them up into the compact cities. That's what smart growth is. You're going off your land. You're going into a mega city where you can be billy clubbed and microwave gunned and sound cannoned, and so horses can ride over the top of you, and so you can be face scanned and license plate read, and so you can have Ritalin and Prozac crammed down your throat and drink fluoride water. The report, literally saturated with dehumanizing proposals, is devoted entirely to the World Bank's long-term strategic strategies in regards to population control, and does not shy away from proposing the most draconian methods in order to depopulate the planet. Male and female sterilization IUDs can be made more rapidly available through mobile facilities such as sterilization vans in Thailand. They already had those. And periodic camps such as the vasectomy and tubesectomy camps in India, which they set up. And IUD safaris in Indonesia. That's where they just ride in and round you up. They come in and give women in Indonesia, it came out just last year, these shots. And they literally throw nets on them, taser them, grab them, and go, here's your shot for tetanus. And they have miscarriage the next day. They're like, that's how you black op them. And it just goes on and on here. And again, that's what's so incredible about all this, is that it's all public. It's all going on right in front of everyone. IMF, World Bank, Rockefeller documents, hundreds and hundreds. We publish them. We link to them on a daily basis. And the New York Times comes out and says we're evil and conspiracy theorists because we know how to read what they're doing. Oh, here they are implementing it. You saw California pass a law where they're going to shoot your 12-year-olds up with Gardasil shots that have been known to kill people, but also have abortions without telling you, and give you other vaccines. In England, they've gone one step further. This is out of the London Telegraph. Girls 13 given contraceptive implants at school. Girls as young as 13 have been fitted with contraceptive implants at school without their parents knowing, and they're ordered to sign a decree that they'll be criminally charged if they tell their parents. Yeah, I saw articles last year where all over the country they had third graders they chose, and they taught them, don't trust your parents. They, what was it, about a year ago, they came out and said to them, we're going to put you all in a biometric database, but don't tell mommy and daddy. We're going to play James Bond. You're now spies, and you're not going to let mommy and daddy know that we're face scanning and retina scanning and thumbprinting and handprinting you. And then when the parents came out and they caught them, the police came around. This is in the news, and threatened the parents and said, national security. They take your blood at birth. They put stuff in your water. They play God. They've... Whoa. Let me continue with the article. But it's caused a backlash from parents who weren't aware that their daughters had been fitted with the 4CM device, which sits under the skin, and has been linked to not just destroying fertility permanently, I would add, but also killing women's sexual desire. It is currently unknown exactly how many youngsters have taken part in the scheme. And it goes on in the article that they have the children sign a pledge they won't tell their parents and tell them they'll go to jail. That's like a child molester. When they rape a child, they tell them, now you'll go to jail or you'll get in trouble or I'll kill your puppy. Of course, there is no law saying that. But they say it's a confidentiality medical, it's their medical privacy. So it's medical privacy law, which they're lying. They're just saying it's a law and then not letting the children tell their parents they're fraud. Here it is. Parents say they've been forced to inspect their child's arm for any sign of the implant. And goes on here. Let me find the part in the article. They tell them that they don't have to face the embarrassment of going to see the doctor, and it's all confidential, so their mom doesn't need to know a thing. They say the school had also gone ahead with counseling the family doctor. I'm trying to find the part. There's a part in here where they, or maybe that BBC article, Jacobson showed this to me last night when I was up here working, where they tell them, don't tell your parents it's medical privacy. You'll go to jail if you do. I mean, it is just so mind-blowing. I just read to you where Yale was run by a eugenicist obsessed with saving the British bloodline. Hitler was as well. I just read to you with direct link to the 1984 development report of the World Bank. In fact, guys, pull this up if you can and click on that first link so we can show it to people. I mean, again, I know this information. You know it. I've got the Rockefeller Foundation documents from the 60s about sterilants and vaccines. They've been caught doing it. They've been caught meeting a few years ago for depopulation. And now, because you're waking up to vaccines, Perry actually did get a law passed. It isn't just an executive order saying if you want to go to college, you got to take whatever vaccines they say. It sets the precedent for just hundreds of these things to be pushed on you. Well, you know what? Can the government pass a law that I've got to sacrifice my firstborn child on top of an altar at a pyramid? Because it was the law in the Aztec kingdom. It was the law in most other cultures. Now, there's the document. Good job. It was the law. The law of the king, the law of the priest. The Druids, to exercise authority, would routinely demand the children of noblemen. They would get them drunk on mead and a mixture of other chemicals. What's the thing you hold over somebody's head to where they've got to kiss you? In the old mistletoe, yeah. Mistletoe and honey liquor, and because the royalty got to be drunk before they killed them, and then they'd hold them and bash their brains out and then slit their throat, or they would put you in a big wicker Burning Man. Oh, yeah, that's how they did it, and burn you up in it, or throw you into a bonfire, where we get the term bonfire. All the Germanic tribes, 24/7 human sacrificing. Again, well, I'm not going to follow your law. You say I got to sacrifice my kids' brains, injecting them with poison? Come and try to get them. On Ron Paul saying, yeah, looks like there's fraud in Maine. Good job, Paul. Because I know he's wanted to look like a, fair loser or somebody, who's real positive and above the fray. But when there's fraud, there's fraud. Also, we've got huge developments on the Iran front. I will get to that. But Aaron Dykes just ran in here without even looking today. This is what he ran into. And now he's doing another search on the term. Undoubtedly, whenever they do something like this, it's a talking point, so you'll see it everywhere. And sure enough, I was looking during the break and did find some more examples of it. Here is the Detroit News. Detroit Free Press. Unbelievable. Michigan is breeding poverty. Now listen to this. Since the national attention is on birth control, here's my idea. If we want to fight poverty, reduce violent crime, and bring down our embarrassing dropout rate, we should swap contraceptives for fluoride in Michigan's drinking water. Hey, Bubba, sodium fluoride is a contraceptive, and it attacks every organ in the body and gives you a 7-fold increase in cancer. They're also proposing in other news outlets putting lithium in the water and statins. Again, why not? They're already forced drugging us. And when you go get your city to vote to take the fluoride toxic waste out, states like New Jersey and Arkansas just passed laws saying it must be in there. Really? Well, can you pass a law saying Hitler can throw Jews into pits and shoot them? Or Stalin can throw Ukrainians into pits and shoot them? No. You can pass laws all day. I say they're null and void. I say you're a fraud. I say what the Aztecs did was a fraud. Now, I may have been a crazy man 1,000 years ago if I was teleported back to Chichen Itza in southern Mexico and the Yucatan, and I could speak Mayan, and I said, hey, don't cut those children's hearts out today when the sun comes up. The sun's a ball of gas. It's not a god. You don't need to kill your people. And of course, the priests made their money off selling the meat in the square. They'd be like, hey, we're making tax money off this. This is our main meat product. Shut up. See, I'm the crazy man to the Aztecs. Just like if I was in Nazi Germany in 1940 and said, don't arrest all these people and put them in camps, I'm the crazy bad man. And see, I happen to know they're already poisoning our water. And I'm, again, the crazy bad man. Because in a land run by psychos, people who aren't psychos are the bad men. And again, the dumbed down who are already brain damaged from this, they're not going to listen to me. They're going to laugh. Oh, they're not doing this to us. I'm speaking to those that are intelligent enough to avoid this. Now, they're moving to make it the law to take shots. And now it's the point of, I'm going to defend myself and my family. You're not going to assault me with that chemical/bio weapon. And again, you shouldn't go to the University of Texas because they've done this. My mother went there. My dad went there. My grandfather went there. You can't go to UT. You can't go to Texas universities now because they're going to try to make you take all these shots. You can't join the military because they do it. They've been caught adding sterilants and cancer viruses. I'm not debating the science of inoculation, even though it's linked to increased cancer and shutting down your immune system. Separately, if there was some deadly bioweapon out there and they had a vaccine that really protected you, I'd take it, except they're going to add a Trojan horse. You can't trust these people because their stated goal is to hurt you through the shots. There's a reason cancer rates are over 2,000%. And here they are saying, since the poor people are dependent on government, we have a right to sterilize them. That's why they want to make you dependent, is so they can then say, well, we're going to sterilize you now or take your kids now because you are dependent. You've got to take all these vaccines when you're on welfare to get the welfare. And in those shots, they're giving you cancer viruses and everything else. No, there's been documentaries put out about the families that live and work next to the soybean fields and others that have the Roundup sprayed, and the Roundup's going into their drinking water and killing them deader than a hammer. It's not a mystery. I mean, the New York Times 2 months ago came out and said, well, yeah, World Bank groups are exterminating blacks and killing the people and herding them up into the compact cities. That's what smart growth is. You're going off your land. You're going into a mega city where you can be billy clubbed and microwave gunned and sound cannoned, and so horses can ride over the top of you, and so you can be face scanned and license plate read, and so you can have Ritalin and Prozac crammed down your throat and drink fluoride water. The report, literally saturated with dehumanizing proposals, is devoted entirely to the World Bank's long-term strategic strategies in regards to population control. Does not shy away from proposing the most draconian methods in order to depopulate the planet. Male and female sterilization IUDs can be made more rapidly available to get them off the property to create a carbon sink for this African country, to comply. And they're like, well, it's for the earth. I mean, burning down villages and shooting little kids. I mean, maybe it's needed. And I saw articles out of Honduras where they're going in mobile facilities, such as sterilization vans in Thailand. They already had those. And periodic camps, such as the vasectomy and tubesectomy camps in India, which they set up. And IUD safaris in Indonesia. That's where they just ride in and round you up. They come in and give women in Indonesia, it came out just last year, these shots, and they literally throw nets on them, taser them,